Adding a pond to the garden is a great way to bring biodiversity and a fun way to experience more of nature in your own yard. But the idea of building a pond might sound intimidating or complicated, and sure, you can build large, beautiful aquatic landscapes. But if you're just dipping your toe into incorporating water into your garden, I've got 3 easy pond building ideas that anyone can do. The first type of pond that I want to talk about is a container pond. This is an easy and inexpensive way to add a water feature pond to your patio or your deck. There are even kits available online that come with everything you need to get started. At the very least, you'll need a watertight container, some rocks or gravel to go into the bottom, some oxygenating plants, and some stones or a log to provide a way for creatures to climb in and out of the container so that they don't get stuck. Adding a pump with a fountain can create peaceful sounds of moving water if that's something that you would like to include as well, but it's certainly not required. These ponds will need some maintenance, and if you purchase one of the kits, definitely follow all the instructions that come with that. You'll definitely want to monitor leaves and other debris that may get into the container and make sure to remove those before it accumulates too much. You can use a small aquarium fish net for this kind of task. And if you live in a cold area, you'll want to disassemble the pond for winter so that water doesn't freeze and risk breaking or cracking the container. The second type of pond is just a simple in-ground pond in your yard. And this is a good way to get started building a pond in your yard without needing to get into kind of a more complex aquatic landscaping type of project. It can easily be completed in an afternoon if you've got a plan and all the materials. We built a small pond like this, incorporating it into a planting bed. It was about 2 feet by 3 feet, I think, and probably about 2 or 3 feet deep, so that we could have some plantings directly in the water in addition to the plantings that we had around the pond itself. We used some flat stones around the edges to create a more naturalistic look, and we made one side of the pond have a gradual slope, using smaller stones to create kind of a shallow beach. That way, creatures could easily get in and out of the pond. We did use a small filter, which we only connected occasionally, and a small solar-powered aerator. And these help to filter debris, to add oxygen, and help aid in balancing the pond. We would also clean out extra organic matter like leaves. And we always made sure to leave whatever material we scooped out near the edge of the pond so that if there were any creatures like snails or any other aquatic invertebrate that were in that organic matter, they would have a chance to make their way back into the pond before we took that debris and disposed of it. This pond was a really nice addition to the garden and provided habitat for frogs and a source of drinking water for birds and mammals. Lastly, this next pond is a step up from the smaller one, but it is still easy to build and maintain.
Here we built a pond, and behind it we built a bog garden section. Pond part here is about 3 feet by 4 feet, or a little bit more than 1 square meter, and that is a good size, especially if you want to encourage creatures like tadpoles to live here. You know, what we did was we started out by digging it out. We dug it out so that there is a deep section. This is about 3 to 3.5 feet deep. And that way we could be able to grow these hardy water lilies. And then there's also a couple of shelf sections, and that gave us space to put some pots to sink in plants. We wanted the shape of the pond to mimic the rectangular raised beds we had in the garden. So there's a fabric liner that goes down first, and then the waterproof pond liner sits on top of that. The liners, they draped over the edge of the 4x4 posts, and then we capped it with 1x6 cedar boards. So We screwed in the cap into the 4x4 post, and that's what allowed us to secure the pond liner.
And there you have it, some easy pond projects that anybody can tackle to add water to their garden. I hope you found some inspiration, and I hope that you seriously consider adding water to your garden, deck, or patio. Once you get comfortable with building your own pond, you wonder how you ever live without one. So thank you very much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, and I hope to see you in the garden. Hi, it's Dan from the Frog Pond Veg Patch. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. That'll help us create new content to share with you. And while you're here, check out this next video I have lined up for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. That's the best way to help us out on this channel.